Hi Tamers! Today I got a fun little replay for you guys. It's a pretty quick tournament game, but there's a lot to learn from it, so let's take a look. So you'll notice that I'm running the same team comp as I was in the Zalbian PvP video. If you want to learn more about it, give that video a watch. The opponent is running what appears to be some kind of neutral synergy comp. You can see they're running 2 neutral Tems in Skunch and Rolder, and then 3 Tems that potentially synergize with them. I ban Inky because it's the biggest threat to my team, and the only Tem that can deal with it effectively is Mudred. They ban Nagice because they have a fast team and it would cause problems, especially without Inky available. I decide to lead Zalbian. Their only counter is Hedgine, and if I can bait them to commit Hedgine, I can bring my redirection device Koish to protect it while it sets up. They bring Hedgine and Kinu, so I bring Koish. They ban Mudred, and I ban Rolder. The rest of the draft looks like this. So my opener is a little stronger than theirs, which incentivizes me to heat up with Zalbian. I'm expecting Kinu to swap to Skunch so they can make a Generify play. Either that or Hedgine swapping out. If they don't do this, my Electro Punch or Water Cannon will potentially one-shot Hedgine. Since I'm expecting very little pressure this turn, I press Heat Up, and Digital Stream the Kinu spot. If they leave Kinu in, or swap to Skunch, it'll do a decent chunk of damage to them. They do swap out Kinu, but they bring in Raiken, and Hedgine uses Hook. Now, if you've been playing Temtem for a long time, there are huge red sirens going off in your head after seeing this play. You see, whenever a trait activates, it appears on the screen. In the case of traits that affect speed, like Nagice's Deceit Aura and Hedgine's Gotta Go Fast, they appear on the screen at the start of each turn. Gotta Go Fast should have popped up before Kinu switched out, and since it didn't, it confirms that this Hedgine is not running Gotta Go Fast. It's running the off-meta trait Going Away gift. With this in mind, the hook play makes a ton of sense. This is actually a support Hedgine, made to set up and then die to buff another Tem. However, this trait is so uncommon, I didn't even notice that Gotta Go Fast didn't proc. And at that point in time, I made the assumption, physical Hedgine, which means I guess he's setting up for Cyberclaw this turn? Technically, yes, this is a physical Hedgine, but at this point, I thought it was some kind of hook-based setup sweeper that just wanted to kill my Zalbian, and I still had my secret redirection device to protect it. I still thought it was Gotta Go Fast, but everything would have made much more sense if I just realized it was Going Away gift, and I could have, you know, not made my next play, which was to double into the Hedgine spot to kill it and cover any swaps. So Electro Punch kills, and Raiken receives all the buffs, including the Kinu buff at the start, which makes the Kinu Hedgine opener make a lot more sense.
I'm a bit of a problem.
The Water Cannon does barely 25% to the boosted Raiken, and it one-shots Koish with Quetzaleno, getting a Prideful buff. Then they bring in Skunch for the Quetzal synergy, and it's pretty much GG at this point. I'm just gonna fast forward through the turns a bit here because the Raiken absolutely sweeps my team. The only Tem that doesn't get OHKO'd by Quetzal is Tolkien, but the double-in takes it out pretty easily. Good game, well played. That was a super cool team, and it's sort of inspiring me to think of some going away gift comps myself. Now, my biggest piece of advice for anyone that wants to get better at Temtem, or any game for that matter, is to record yourself playing and go back and watch your replays so you can figure out what you could have done better. The more practice you have analyzing situations in past games, the easier it'll be to analyze games in the moment. So let's go back and analyze what went wrong so we can do better next time. Starting with the draft phase, I do think Inky was the correct first ban, and I don't see too much wrong with Zalbian Koish versus Hedgine Kinu. What I really have issue with is my Rolder ban. Raiken is obviously their other sweeper. It's the only other Tem besides Inky and Hedgine that can potentially take advantage of neutral synergy, and I have very little options to deal with Raiken after they ban Mudred. So yeah, I think the Rolder ban was a huge misplay, and I wish I had used some more reserved time to really think it through. The first 2 picks and bans are very important, so you shouldn't be afraid to use most of your time here to think it through carefully. Looking at the game itself, it still seems pretty winnable even with Raiken getting through the ban phase. The main error is, of course, not noticing the Hedgine didn't have Gotta Go Fast. Was the game winnable after that mistake? Well, Maybe. I originally brought 2-Wire in after Koish died to give Electro Punch synergy. My plan was to try to outspeed Raiken with Electro Punch and hopefully kill it, but at +2 and with Ketsa synergy, there was very little chance I would have outsped. However, if I made my game plan to get Zalbian onto a board while Gazma's already there, the fast charge bonus may have let me outspeed a +2 or +3 Raiken, depending on their TV spread. But after the misplay, I was a little tilted and just assumed the game was unwinnable. With the massive tempo shift on turn 2, it very well might have been unwinnable, but I should have at least tried to make some riskier plays to get back into the game. Anyway, that's all for this video. My opponent had a really cool comp and I learned a lot from that game. Hopefully if I encounter something like it in the future, I can play around it a bit better, and hopefully if one of you guys runs into this strategy, you can realize what's happening before it's too late. Thanks for watching! My name is Blunk and I make Temtem content for YouTube. If you like this video, thanks! Stay tuned for more, and have a nice day.